These are some ways Overdrive can have a bright future. Let's talk about it. What's good, YouTube? NoGoodEman coming to you today with a wish list for soloing Rise Overdrive. So guys, in this video, this is honestly going to be a little bit more creative on my side. Not really a guide video, but we're really just talking about some things I would love to see in a gameplay patch for Overdrive, talking about the expansion, talking about some things that can bring some players back and keep some players on longer. But before we get anything, make sure you leave a like on the video. As always, go ahead and subscribe to that channel, turn on post notifications to miss a live or an upload. Now, the first question I want to pose to the viewers watching is going to be this: what gameplay changes or adjustments, or what's something new you want to see in Overdrive? Go ahead and comment it below, because we're going to be reading these comments like crazy, bouncing off each other with ideas of some sort. So if the devs by chance come across this video, you guys might be the key factor in adding some new gameplay changes, adding some new structure to Overdrive to allow us to be playing this game as long as possible. But the first thing I want to note is some obvious things. So the first thing that I want in Overdrive is going to be that offline mode gameplay, because dude, I have no reason to be playing story mode and lagging as much as I do. I'm nowhere near as laggy as I should be when it comes to playing this game. I know I don't have the best of PC, but hearing that a lot of you guys are lagging and hearing the PC specs you guys have is insane. So with that, Overdrive offline mode needs to come very soon. Now, of course, that's going to come in some type of patch. I don't think we'll get offline mode as a DLC, because that would be crazy. But the next thing that I want to talk about is co-op difficulty balancing. So let's talk about the co-op, and really let's talk about how hard co-op can be once you get 3 or more people in your co-op lobby. This has got to be absolutely egregious. I have no idea what the devs put the co-op bosses on, but these dudes hit like they're the system themselves. It looks like we get into co-op and we flip roles, and suddenly whatever boss we face is the player and we're just some fodder to be beaten on. So dude, we have to somehow correct this, dude, because we could go to bosses like Gatekeeper Cerberus on chapter 3. If there's 3 or more players in that co-op lobby, we're all getting smoked by the gatekeeper himself. This applies to just about everybody, whether it's going to be Huang Dong Suk, whether it's going to be King Kasakas from chapter 1. We are all fodder, but of course we have our ways with, let's say, hunters like Esoradaru, some type of supports, and some people even cheat in those lobbies, believe it or not. But regardless, man, I want to see kind of an adjustment. Now, I kind of understand it, because let's say I had a brand new account, right? And let's say I had a player with this specific account, right? And you guys know I'm an endgame player. We have Monarch's level. We have basically all the endgame gear. If let's say somebody gets on day 1, they don't want somebody that's maybe, you know, grinded and maxed out the game to just immediately allow them to get as strong as possible. So I kind of get it, making the difficulty hard, but maybe just set a limit on players that can join a co-op lobby. Maybe set them by level, right? Let's say if we're doing Workshop of Brilliant Light, you can't necessarily join that until you beat in the game. I think that's how it works in general right now, if I'm not mistaken, but not really sure. I haven't played co-op too much, but the times I have played it on stream, it's been insane, dude. I've been struggling. It's actually egregious. It's honestly turned me off to the idea of co-op in general. But of course, co-op can still be fun with about 1 other person in that lobby, or if you just lower the difficulty in content. But let's go ahead and get us to the next thing. Speaking of co-op, I want to see a 1v1 mode in Overdrive, dude. I don't know. I think that could be something kind of big for this game that kind of can set it apart from Arise, right? Because we are kind of just taking various different game modes, very different sprites, and of course it is the story retold, so you can basically expect a lot of things that you see in Arise to be seen in Overdrive. But something that could set them apart is a 1v1 game mode, whether it be a ranked game mode or something of the sort. Now, of course, before we get any type of 1v1 mode, we're going to need to fix our anti-cheat system, because if we go into, let's say, Battle for the Time, which I believe we go in here, we click play, we go to Battle for the Time, you guys will see the problem that's going on right now, right? 11 seconds in a Battle for the Time boss. I don't believe it. I don't even play this just off of the strength that we know that the top players are cheating, right? If you know speedrunners, if you follow speedrunners and you just tap in with them every now and then like I do, you will know that we've never even heard of some of these people, right? Because speedrunners tend to upload their runs to YouTube, make it look legit. I have not seen an 11-second speedrun on any one of these bosses, and that shouldn't even exist, off of the fact that there are various different phases in Battle for the Time. So they're literally one-shotting each and every phase, boss included. It's ridiculous, man. Not really sure what type of anti-cheat system they could implement because we don't want to deal with a false ban wave that we were dealing with on Arise. But again, we need to fix this game mode or just get rid of it entirely. There's no point in having Battle for the Time if we're just going to allow the cheaters at the top to stay cheaters at the top, if that makes sense. Along with that, we could of course add some new game modes within Overdrive. I think that Battlefield of Trials, and if you don't know what Battlefield of Trials is, it's a game mode in Arise that essentially allows you to play from floor 1 all the way up to, I think, almost 100 now. There's been updates. I think it's like around 80, 90, if not 100. Basically 100 floors of just random bosses, and you just defeat the boss. Now, of course, just saying that off initial, it might not sound too appeasing, but let's say that they tied the rewards you get into those for maybe just something that could enhance your account, whether it be the end game gear. That's a new way to farm tier 10 without having to do Workshop Brilliant Light, without having to face, like, let's say 3-4 waves of bosses. We could just face one boss, kill them, get, let's say, gold, maybe a heap of gold, maybe something like a WOBL ticket, some end game type of content. I think we could do that. Along with that, I think another game mode that I would love to see in Overdrive is something called Simulation Gate. If you don't know what Simulation Gate is, essentially that's going to take your hunters team formation and they're going to throw them into a bunch of battles, a bunch of waves. And again, waves is really good for Overdrive. They're going to throw them into a bunch of waves, and throughout the battle, they'll get something called codes that can enhance their gameplay. It's all RNG though, so that's kind of the fun aspect of it. You're basically going to be dealing with a lot of RNG depending on the codes you get. That will allow you to do an X amount of damage, X amount of stagger, X amount of healing. Regardless, I think that could be cool. Now, of course, I'm not just gonna say, hey, let's take all the game modes in Arise and just paste them onto Overdrive, but I will say that the devs are kind of doing that in some regards. Again, this is just the story retold, so a lot of what we see in Arise is gonna be kind of in Overdrive. I mean, Battle for the Time, Hunter Archive, those are the exact same game modes in Arise, right? Whether it be Workshop or Brilliant Light, Power Destruction, again, those exist in Arise. Again, the game is called Soul Leveling Arise Overdrive, so I shouldn't be too shocked or I guess too worried that the game will just like one-to-one copy its counterpart, its mobile counterpart. But again, that's just two game modes I'd like to see. If they add some original game modes like the 1v1 mode, I think that could also contribute very nicely. And then of course, we've got to talk about that main story mode. We're going to need that story mode expansion. If you guys don't know what's going to happen after chapter 8, and let's maybe get out of there because he's going to blab on in the background. But after chapter 10, which is the return to the demon's castle and he faces Baran, the next chapter, the next arcs to come would be a variety of different things depending on what they want to adapt. Personally, I think that the next major gameplay expansion update should hold at least 3 new chapters, at minimum 2, but 3 would be nice. I think that they'll probably add 2 chapters every major update. That way it'll just be kind of on odd, so maxed out to chapter 12, 14, 16, 18, whatever the case. I would love to see the Jeju Island raid. I think that's a given. That's 1000% gonna come because it was teased in the final chapter 10 battle. And then after that, I think they could squeeze in the Ajin Guild arc where JEJU makes his own guild, and definitely this next part might be a little bit of a spoiler, so spoiler warnings, maybe skip ahead about 20 to 30 seconds, but the return to the double dungeon arc where JEJU faces the architect and he ends up, you know, just facing the system itself. They could adapt all those, and I believe it's already adapted in Arise, so a little bit of cross collaboration between the project teams of Overdrive and Arise, and that could 1000% happen. Now, of course, in that, we're gonna need a bunch of new everything, new hunters, new weapons, new shadows, and I've thought of them all. So with that, let's go ahead and get it started because your boy literally has it written down. With the Jeju Island arc, we should be introduced to new characters such as Goto Ryuji, Kane Tawata, and Shimuzu Akari, all members of the Blade Guild if you don't know who they are. Along with that, I would love to see the chairman himself, Gogen Hee. I would also like to see some Hunter Guild members. Think about Gina and think about Hansei Mi. And then the game could add another game original character, which they look like they're not too shy on doing that. They just haven't added every game original character. Well, we have Alicia Blanc, we have Emma Laurent. I think it might be time for Maylene Fisher. I'm not going to talk about too many game original characters now, and I definitely do not think collab units that you see on Arise will swing on over to Overdrive, so we don't have to worry about that. Next up, we're going to talk about the weapons. Now, of course, I believe without a doubt, 1000%, we are going to get the Demon King daggers within this next update. Like I said, the The Demon King daggers are acquired right after GEJU defeats Baron, and that is where the story mode does end for Overdrive. So I guess it doesn't make too much sense if players would craft, let's say, an endgame material after the end game. I guess they wanted to wait for us to get to JEJU Island, and with that, GEJU literally faces Beru with the Demon King daggers in JEJU Island, so it would make absolutely zero sense for them to not add it in the game. So we can almost without a doubt know that the Demon King daggers will be coming. I think that the Stormbringer, which is a game original weapon, should also come in there. It's a wind weapon, along with the Fan of the Fire Demon. That's a focus weapon that would come into Overdrive if it does come on. And then a polearm weapon that could come in would be the Winter Fang. Again, these are all just Arise weapons. If you guys want to know a little bit more about what those weapons do, we thankfully have spent the past year and a half on Arise, so you can just check out our weapons guides and just see what those weapons kind of entails and kind of imagine how they would look in Overdrive. Along with that, just the Moonshadow daggers and the Huntsman firearm. Of course, the devs could add just about anything they want. If you just look at all the weapons here, I believe each and every one of these weapons for Sun GEJU specifically is in Arise. It's definitely just not as, like, let's say, crafty or expansive as this, right? Like, I think the West Wind that goes up to SR, or how weapons go, I believe it's R, which is rare, SR, super rare, and then SSR, which is, I don't know if you made it this far, comment what does SSR stand for, because I was just about to say super rare, super stupid rare, I don't know. Anyways, the point is each of these weapons that you see right here are in Arise, so they're definitely going to be implementing newer weapons from Arise into Overdrive. They'll make them craftable and everything in between. And then the final thing will be the shadows. Now, of course, JEJU Island would be coming through, so you know what's coming. It's the boy Beru. I didn't mean to rhyme right there, I swear on my life, but regardless, guys, we should expect Beru without a doubt in the next update. Super excited to utilize him. I hope he's an actual, just a nuclear shadow. He's a nuclear shadow for GEJU, so I think that an expansion to the shadows is also something we should look forward to. I think when he does get Beru, shadows do unlock the general ranking. Egress is still pretty underleveled. Your boy has to grind out the gold. It's really expensive here. If I could rant like mid video, dude, to get Egress to level 40 is $250,000 of gold, bro. This is not Arise. We got no codes to go off of. What the hell is this, devs? I understand the grind, but again, I'm basically an endgame account. I have basically completed each and every game mode. Like, why settle for $250,000 gold? I think that we need some content to grind for to make it seem like, oh, let me upgrade my shadows, or we need some implementation to make the shadows feel obscenely nuclear, to the point where it's like, okay, if I don't upgrade my shadows, I'm not going to be able to do X, Y, and Z, because I mean, we're the Monarch of Shadows. If our shadow soldiers aren't up to par, what are we doing, right? But guys, all in all, Overdrive can see a lot, and I mean a lot, of great things implemented. Now, of course, a lot of what I say is inspiration from Arise, if not just the actual story told between the manhwa. But guys, what do you guys personally want in Overdrive? I'm really imploring you guys to comment some systems, some changes, just about anything that you can think for Overdrive to be just 1% better. All of us as a community together can make something great with this game, so go ahead and leave your thoughts, theories, and comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. With that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Y'all take care. Peace.